This is something that no one believed was true. No one believed it was possible. But I started laughing. There's some new relationship between time and space as it relates to computing. Computational complexity is the study of what can and can't be computed under bounded resources. What are bounded resources? Well, for one, time. We don't have a lot of it, but also RAM or space or memory. And what I proved was a fundamental new relation between time and space. A small amount of space could be as powerful as a relatively larger amount of time, a square amount of time, in essentially all conceivable computations. If we have extremely memory efficient implementations of these things, maybe in the future, a powerful AI model will just fit on your phone. We don't really know what kinds of applications that will come about from this kind of work because we didn't even believe such algorithms existed.
I've been doing complexity theory for 45 years. When you have a computation of time t, you can try to save on storage, but the best you can do is shave off some small factor. And so this huge improvement was shocking to everybody I know.
So I showed that a time-efficient computer program can always be reprogrammed so it uses much less space than what you might expect. As a consequence, there are problems which can be solved with a small amount of space that require a relatively larger amount of time. This is something that no one believed was true, and it was only because of a breakthrough by James Cook and Ian Mertz that I was able to find what I found.
Time doesn't have to be totally sequential. You can actually throw out a lot of what you've done in the past and just recompute it at the moment it's necessary. The structure of recomputing was such that we could gain a little bit of space, but not a whole bunch. It seems like we had gotten as far as we could. The notion that we couldn't do anything more turned into this idea of the tree evaluation problem.
The tree evaluation problem looks like some very strange toy problem. There are these arbitrary functions being evaluated at every node of the tree. It's a very, very general problem capable of encoding a huge variety of time-efficient computations.
I was working on the problem just because my dad had been looking at it for a long time. In about 2014, this paper came out introducing catalytic space. They showed that there are some things we don't know how to compute with just the small amount of free memory, but we do know how to compute if you're allowed to make temporary changes to this large amount of memory that's already in use. I thought about it for a couple years and eventually realized that it can be turned into an algorithm to actually solve tree evaluation in a surprisingly small amount of memory.
When our tree evaluation paper came out, we put it on our own kind of internal version of the archive, which actually requires an approval from a moderator, and then got an email saying that it was rejected. We had said that all that's known about the relationship of time and space is that time can be simulated with the same amount of space. And our mysterious moderator told us that that's wrong. There's an old result from the 70s that shows that you can save a little bit on the space. That moderator turned out to be Ryan himself.
I read many papers about time versus space, and I knew that the Cook-Mertz result was some strange new space-efficient way of evaluating a tree. I was immediately reminded of this construction, which I had read about in a paper a long time ago. This looks like this completely different thing. How can I make them the same?
I don't think either of us expected Ryan to turn it around and show that time is not more powerful than space. It's showing that space is more powerful than time. And when we saw that, I think both of us were just floored.
I showed that basically everything needing a large amount of time can be solved with a relatively small amount of space. Space is powerful and it can simulate time-efficient computations in an unexpected way. I proved this kind of limitation, but I did it by giving some algorithm that nobody believed existed.
Considering this is a totally different way to think about space, it makes sense that we would revisit some of the oldest problems in the field.
Every problem we can hope to solve by computers, how to cure cancer and how to solve global warming. Ryan's result is a central, piece that will be there in every book and every course that everybody will learn.
Since I found this result and wrote this paper and saw everyone's reaction, people will ask me, well, what do you think about problem X? What do you think about problem Y? And now my gut reaction is, I don't know what to think. It's unsettling. It's maybe in some sense disturbing, but it's also exciting. It means that despite the fact I learned so much, there is still so much more to learn.